Counting your blessings. Everyone needs to do it. That's next on StonePark Podcast. Dream, build, connect. Welcome once again. I am David, your host. Across from me, my co-host, Carlos.
What's up, David?
What's up, what's up, what's up?
I'm back again with another one.
I think a congratulations is in order. This past weekend, Carlos graduated, right?
Yeah, he did, man.
The
Big
third.
boy. He's he's out of high school, and yeah, man, it was a proud moment.
Yeah. How does that feel? I mean, do you feel proud in a sense that, like, do you still look at him as a baby?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. Yeah. It's amazing when you see your child going across that stage. You know what I mean? You see him with his cap and gown. It's just kind of like, damn. Like, wow. Time goes by so fast. Like, you start thinking about, kindergarten and, the little backpack and, Ninja Turtle backpacks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To, just being a grown-up.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, is that your first graduate?
Nah, it's my second one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter was 2 years ago. And
Wow.
and then him, and then I got another one coming in another 2 years. And then, of course, Catalina, the last one.
The last one. Yeah.
So
God bless her.
yeah. Yeah. So, but it's amazing, man. It's definitely a great, great feeling.
Okay, let's get into it. I want to share a story with you that happened to me recently, and that's pretty much the idea behind this episode.
Okay.
So you know that my car is in the shop
Yeah.
for the transmission. So my car or my truck, only a year old, the transmission is shot, but it's under warranty. That's fine, but I need a rental. So when I go and get the rental, in my mind, I want the same car. I don't want the half car. Usually rental companies, they give you half the car that you gave in to the shop. And they're promising me that truck. Okay, sir, your truck is waiting for you outside. I go out there. What is it? Half the SUV. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, come on, man. Don't do this to me. And the guy's kind of giving me the runaround and all these excuses. And I just said, listen, I called in. You guys told me that you guys were going to have it. You're giving me half the vehicle. That's not acceptable. Okay, sir, hold on. So he goes back in the building. And just to give you a picture, this building is an old hotel, still running, but kind of weird that this rental place is in this hotel, just kind of awkward.
Yeah.
As the guy goes back into the hotel, someone's calling my name. I'm looking around, and it's a guy from high school. I haven't seen him in years. And I graduated 20 plus years ago. I've seen this guy maybe 5 times. Every time, always jolly, always has a smile on his face, positive energy. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to put his business out there, but really, really positive dude.
Yeah.
When I see him this time, he looks the same, but there's sadness. You could just see in his eyes, just sadness. And I immediately asked him, what's going on? Is everything okay? And he said, no. I said, well, what's going on? And he said, I have cancer. And I was shocked. And I asked him, is there anything that you can do about it? He said, well, I just had surgery. And I said, well, what kind of cancer is it? And he didn't really explain it, but I think it has something to do with his throat. Mm-hmm. And he said that the doctor said that it's going to come back. And I didn't want to say, well, how long do you have to live or anything like that. So my body just hugged him. My body took over and just gave him a hug. And we hugged for a long time. And I knew he needed the hug. I felt it. I've never hugged him ever. I've maybe given him a 5 or a handshake. Never, ever in my life have I hugged him. And usually I don't go around hugging people. But for some reason, I felt it. I felt the connection. I hugged him. He hugged back really hard and kind of on the verge of tears. And me too. And I said, well, what are you doing here, this hotel? And he said, yeah, my house flooded. Wow. And I said, so you can't go back? He said, no, can't live in there. And the only thing I could do was say, hey, well, we have a construction company. If you need me to come in there like pro bono style, I'll do it. You let me know, you know where to find me. He said, no, I appreciate it, David. And I told him I loved him. I said, I love you, man. And he said, I know. He said, I know. Thank you, David. I love you too. And kind of gave another hug, and he went on his way. And then as that was happening, the rental guy came out, and he was ready to get down, like argue or debate with me. And I said, just shut up and give me the keys, man. He's like, what? I said, just give me the keys. He said, you'll take that car? I said, yeah, I'll take the car. Just give me the keys. And I get in the car, and I'm shook. I'm shook. One, because I find out that a friend of mine has cancer. And another feeling that I'm having is more selfish, as in, here I am crying about this car, this SUV that I want. And little do I know, behind me, I have a friend here in need that is going through it.
With some real problems.
Real problem. Look, I've had the flood in the house, watching my wife cry as family photos are floating in the basement. That hit us hard. So that right there can shake someone. And the cancer thing is crazy. It's crazy. So I just thought to myself, wow, man, like looking at my situation, it's BS. Like I really have many things going for me. And even the things that I think are painful, like with our work stuff, and we got 1,000,000,001 things going wrong there, seem like nothing. So I wanted to create something, an episode where you and I can discuss that and how maybe we can kind of change the mindset. And for our listeners too, change the mindset, because everyone is going through it. Everyone.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a perfect life. Like there are people out there hurting in different ways. And some people show it, some people don't, but everyone is going through it.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I know some of your things, you know mine, but I wanted to dedicate this to my boy. You know, if he's listening, that's great. If not, you know, but I wanted to dedicate it to him and let him know that he made a difference. He did. He made a difference with who he was as a person, like in high school, who he is now, you know, like what he's going through. So he made a difference.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Why do you think we become ungrateful or feel sorry for ourselves?
I think you've said this before, you know, entitlement, you know, just feeling like we're old, you know, like you've said this,
Yeah.
you know, and I agree with you 100%. I think that's it, you know, just nothing else more to say rather than, you know, it's a selfish thing. We're very selfish as human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a me thing, you know.
Well, I'm going to take a page out of your book. Let's talk about your dad,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we had that episode when we were talking about his upbringings and how he was working at 15, these crazy jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was it? Just manual labor,
Yeah.
day in, day out. And he couldn't say anything.
Right.
And I think that that generation didn't have time to feel anything, right? They didn't have time to feel bad for themselves.
Right.
They just kind of did it.
Gotta do it.
Right. And then their dream was to give opportunity to their kids, which they did,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when we took those opportunities, we didn't have the same upbringing as our parents, working crazy hours and not able to be depressed or feel sorry for themselves. We had those opportunities to do that.
Yep.
And you and I getting older, we're kind of doing that to our kids.
it's hard not to make it easier for them, because we want to. But at the end of the day, it's really a disservice, because it's tough, man, because we want to give them everything, but sometimes giving everything could backfire. You know what I mean? And being selfish. I think at the end, man, the entitlement and feelings like you're owed something, or just a me. I think that's where it boils down to at the end.
Okay, for me personally, when you put a lot of effort out there and you're doing all the right things and you're being respectful and you're giving opportunity and you're just basically doing everything that you can to be on top of it, right? Be the one. When things don't go your way, I'm not saying that it's an immediate reaction. You kind of eat it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But our tank gets full quick, where I think the other generation, there is no tank. It doesn't get full. They just take it.
Yeah.
And we are trying to get to the next level. And in order to do so, people got to get called out. People have to know when they're doing wrong. People have to understand that, hey, I've done all this, so I deserve that. And I agree with that. Yeah. Does that make sense? Because if not, if you keep quiet all the time, you're not going to get what you need. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I can take the vehicle that they give me, but the right answer is I should be getting the vehicle that I gave. Why are you guys doing that? And it's a money thing. It's a convenience thing for them. It's the people that complain usually get what they want. The people that don't say anything, they get screwed.
Yeah.
So we have that in us, that you're not going to get by on us. And sometimes when it hits us over and over again, we forget kind of how the people before us were. And we're not taking those gems that they had given us. We kind of forget that.
Yeah.
The thing about your parents, let's just take my mom, for example, that I look back, I usually go back to like when they were my age. So in her 40s, I know exactly how old I was, right? And I'm imagining her at that age, what she was doing, what she was like. And my thing is understanding her more. Like, that's why she did that. Also, communicating with her, even though, it's done, that time has passed. Mm-hmm. In my mind, I'm communicating with her and I'm saying, what should I do? What would you do? And her thing is she wants me to be better in all ways.
That is a trip right there. What you said, like going back and thinking about like your parents at a certain time of their age,
for sure,
and being like, all right, well, I'm 38, and man, when my mother was 38, it was this, and then you start thinking like, man, that was my, and so
yeah, I always do that. I do that with my mom. I do that with my dad, and just going back to my mom, that she held it in so well. And I don't need to get into what she held in, but she held it in so well to protect me, to let me grow, to let me have opportunities. Knowing she knew all the answers, but she acted like she didn't know. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because she wanted me to go out and do my thing. Like maybe I was making a wrong decision. She could have easily said, hey, Dave, I don't think this is the right decision, but she let me do that. Right. And I think that old school mentality of letting your kid grow, like kind of fail and fall, mm-hmm. and being there and not saying, I told you so. Right. I think we're under the mentality of, hey, don't do that because of this. Hey, I told you so. You're like all helicopter parents,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that we got to take a page from our parents and be able to not get so anxious, keep cool, calm, collected, versus all up in your face and let you know what I'm doing and me, and I did this, so I get that. It doesn't work like that. And I think talking to my friend, it kind of hit me that what am I doing here? Like, what am I getting upset about? What should I truly be focused on? Yeah, again, I'm going to say the car thing. Did it really matter? It didn't. It really didn't. And for me to, sit in there for an hour, talk to a manager, be a Karen. What's the male version of a Karen?
Darren.
They call them Darrens?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what I've heard.
Being a Darren, like, what a waste of time. And another point I want to make is what we're doing with our children as far as giving them everything. So remember, first off, commercials, right? Commercials were the place where you would watch almost like kid news. What's the new?
Yeah, I look forward to those commercials.
Yeah. What new toy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What new cereal, right?
Yep.
What new show? Those were the three things. And when you saw that toy, who would you go to? You go to your parents.
Yep.
You say, can I have this toy? And what would they say to you? No. Or, yeah, on your birthday. Or
special occasions only.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you looked at my toy box,
you had to earn it.
Yeah,
like,
you definitely had to earn it. I remember my first watch. I begged my mom. I remember this kid in my neighborhood. He had a Casio watch, and it couldn't have been more than like $10 or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess that was a lot of money back then. And I wanted it so bad. And my mom would mess with me. She would say, "Oh, in due time." And I'm like, "Well, what's due time?" And then her and my sister would just mess with me and keep on saying it. I'm like, "Well, what is that?" I eventually got it, but I worked for that thing. I don't know what I had to do, but it wasn't the day after. It was like,
you remember the old watch, the one that had the little calculator on it too?
That's the
that's the one?
It was the cheaper version of that one.
Oh man, because that calculator one, oh dude, what? I was like, I gotta have that watch, man. And I just felt like it was
It's true, you had to have it. I think the first time I saw it was in Back to the Future, where he was messing around with his watch and he had the calculator joint. So yeah, but our kids won't have that. They won't have that, because if you go into Mateo's lair, the basement, dude, man, there's so many toys, so many. And I don't know if it was like me trying to get him the things that I always wanted, right? But I've created a monster when it comes to that. And my daughter too, they just get everything they want. They don't see those commercials. They don't have those moments where I can say, "Oh, you got to work for it."
Yeah.
We almost buy the toys to do something for them. There is no such thing as, "Hey kids, go out and play and run around." They do that, and then they come back 5 minutes later and say, "What's next?"
Yeah.
There's always this thing where we have to keep them entertained, whether it's driving them somewhere, going somewhere to eat, buying them something. It's just too much.
That's true.
And I think that going back to like this situation, I got to bring them back. I got to bring them back to mom days. Like, oh, maybe. Well, what is you? I said that to Mateo. I said, maybe. He said, "Oh, maybe means yes." And he walked away. I created a monster. So I think with our kids, we need to realize that, because if I'm feeling that we're a little disconnected now, and I think we kind of have it all in here, and we're not really changing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We are who we are. At least I believe that. There's little moments where you can start changing little behaviors, like what I'm getting to, kind of counting your blessings. But I think we are who we are at this age. Our kids still have a shot. their personalities and you could see them, but I feel that, you know, between, at least for me, between now and the next 10 years, I have that opportunity to give them more of a root. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to deprive them of anything, but here, a cell phone. What's the age that you're thinking of giving or have already given?
Yeah, so my daughter Catalina, right, she's already asking for a phone.
And
right?
How old is she?
She's 8. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, no. Now my wife is like, babe, you know, Catalina wants to ask you a question. And I'm just like, what happened? And she's, the setup. And the way that it's coming from, I could see that if I said yes, my wife would be like, okay, you know, and I'm just like, oh, nah, you know. So to answer your question, I told my daughter, I was like, look, I'll probably think about it when you're 10. I'll probably think about it. And I say 10 because, like, my daughter's 8, but her mentality right now and the way that she acts and the way that she is, she acts like she's 10 or 11 already. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's a little sad because I feel like they're moving too fast, you know? And I just wish sometimes that she was kind of like more 8-year-old, you know, especially because I have a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, you know, a 16-year-old. And I'm just like, man, it's too soon. You know, I want you to like slow down. But it's hard for them to slow down with, you know, with the way the world is right now. Everything is so fast. And if I say, you know, when you're 10, I'll think about it. Because in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, by 10, man, she's probably be like acting like she's 14, you know, 15. Like she's just too smart. And I could possibly think about it, but still feel like it's too soon, you know? But yeah, man, it's, you know, they're so smart, man. I got videos of her, where she's like playing with an iPad and my wife's phone, swiping, man, like just on the thing, you know, like knows how to go through apps. It's funny, like she knows all our like passwords to our things. She says that she's a hacker. Like she says that she's like, I'm a hacker. Look, I know your password and this and that. And I'm just like, like what? Like it's crazy. You know what I mean? And that's like, there's an actual word that she says. And I'm like, man, when I was 8 years old, I didn't use the word hacker. Like I didn't even know what that was, you know? Yeah. So it's just, man, like the world nowadays, man, it's fast.
Yeah, it's too fast, and we have to somehow slow it down a little bit. Yeah. Like you said, she's 8 going on 10, mm-hmm. right? Once she's 10, now she's 14. It's nuts. And I think I'm going to have a real hard time dealing with that moment, because once you give them that phone, I don't want to say it's over, but it's over.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to like still, you know, have control of, you know, what they're watching and what, you know, what they're being the access to, you know, but still, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, it's tough. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she has a PlayStation, right? And, you know, she gets on there and starts playing like Fortnite and all these games, right? And it's online gaming, you know. And
does Fortnite have guns or anything like that?
Yeah, it's like it's like a cartoonish shooters game, and she loves playing Fortnite and like, you know, what is it, like Roblox and stuff like that. But what I'm getting to is like there's other kids also on there, right? And they're actually like having conversations and like talking and like being bad, man. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh hell no, like, yeah. You know, and that's what I'm saying is like, once they have access to this internet and to this world, like you can't control all that. Like, how are you gonna control that? Well, you're not gonna let them play a video game? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard for me.
It's hard.
It's even hard for me seeing, and this is kind of going with what we're saying. our parents just let us be.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was a bully, you kind of had to figure that out. Not that they wouldn't be supportive or give you some pointers, but me, I'm rolling up on that bully. Like I'm crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we need to let them grow the way that we grew.
Yeah.
Right. And even going back a step further, the way our parents grew, because that's what's going to make them unique and stronger for the situations that are going to be thrown at you in life.
Especially nowadays.
Right. So I just feel like
think about it, right? Like Mattel, let's say you instilled your way of the way that you were brought up. Mattel will be a different animal compared to the other kids, because the other kids are not being raised like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he would he'll be different, man. Like he'll be stronger. He'll be, because it seems like right now everything's going weak, man.
It's going weak, and I don't believe in the participation trophy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I get where people are coming from, but it's either you win or you lose.
True.
Right? And when you lose, you got to feel it.
You got to feel, that's right.
So with Mateo, I'm trying to teach him how to lose, and it's hard for him. Like he'll start whining. I'm like, listen, it's just a loss. And he just can't, he doesn't get it. And that, I think, comes from everything just being handed.
Yeah.
Everything just being handed.
The entitlement, it starts from there.
Yes.
It starts from those trophies, from those participation certificates.
That makes sense. So if everyone wins and then all of a sudden you lose with, let's say, a family member at a get-together, and you go crazy, and the family member's like, what's wrong with them? Because they expect to win, or it's that false sense of winning.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're winning all the time, what's the point? It doesn't make sense. And then when you're put in that position of failure, you go crazy, and you're not being grateful for the opportunity. So let's throw this out there. Would you say that we're blessed, you and I,
mm-hmm.
to have the opportunity to fail?
100%. 100%. I've always said, man, that failure is the best thing that could happen.
For sure.
Because it gives you an edge against anyone else, because you experienced, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're able to wiggle through situations because of an experience, it makes you sharper. It just gives you that experience, man, that you like, it's a must, it's a must. Fear and all that is a must. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go through it.
And I'll even take it in a different direction. Going back to our parents, they didn't have the opportunity to fail.
Mm-hmm.
We do, right? So why are we going to our kids and not letting them fail?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's where it is. So so I can step back with my story. I'll step back and say, oh crap, David, you gotta change this. This doesn't make sense. You're getting mad over little things. Let's focus on the bigger things, right? I have the ability to do that. My mom and my dad gave me that. They gave me that. Looking back at their lives, going back, like I said, I go back to my mom when she's my age, and I look at her and I see her, and I going back, I knew it was tough for her. It was tough on her, but she was strong, man, and she's still strong today. Mm-hmm. But strong. And I admire that. And she did those sacrifices for me to have the ability to fail.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't blame her like, oh, well, Mom, the reason why I think this way is because of you. Yes, that's true, right? But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get your kid to the next level. And that's what we're doing with our kids.
But there's certain fails that you would want them to avoid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing I like. I tell my son too, well, my older kids, it's like, I'll, you know, I'll let you fail, you know what I mean? But there's certain things that you can't come back from. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain failures that I can't allow. I wouldn't like let you crash out on. Um, there's others that I'll be like, all right, well, you think okay, go ahead, But there's other things that I'm just like, I can't accept. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's just like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's I know that it's not good for you.
And also, that's your baby boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, it is what it is. Like some fathers or parents, they'll just let them go.
Yeah.
Just do it. But me, when I see my son, I think of him as a little baby boy.
Yeah, and he'll always be that.
Always.
Like, yeah, mommy, my son, he's a big boy, man. He's, I look at him sometimes, I'm just like, damn, man. And he's still a little baby to me. Like, to me, he's a little kid, you know what I mean? And my father sees me the same way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes my dad, like, well, more now, but growing up, my father was very, very like tough, serious, very like nothing. He wouldn't give you nothing. Like a handshake, you know what I mean? If that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I mean, dude was just like no emotion. Yeah. But now, he's older, you know what I mean? And he's more like, he's sweet talks, you know what I mean? And I'll be like, man, like, and but yeah, like, going back to what you were saying like earlier, like they didn't have time to like express, feelings and emotions and nothing. Like, he just had to make it happen for the family. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, especially with the father, like my dad always told me that the mother is unconditional love and the dad is conditional, right? So the mom, go pick up your toys, right? Okay, mom, give me 5 minutes, right? And dad is like, yo, you better effing pick up your toys. No.
Yeah, facts.
Okay.
That's so true.
Right? So I agree with him on that. And maybe your dad wanted to show that love, but didn't have time to, because he wanted to raise you a certain way.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing what he was about, a softer human being. But when he saw you, saw you as a kid, he gave you the tools to be tough, to learn how to fail and take it like a man.
Yeah, 100%.
So I honestly think that, yeah, we were put in a position where we can fail. Now, there's certain moments, especially in my life, that failure isn't an option. Like we're making it sound like, hey, let's fail together. This is great. No. We're talking about us stepping back and looking at moments in our life where, okay, right there, I was really feeling it there, man. I was down and out. I failed there, but I learned this. And that's what we're talking about. And we have the opportunity to do that because of our parents, because they worked so hard for us to be where we are now. Maybe they didn't, in our case, they didn't give us all the riches, but they gave us the support, the love. And when, I'm not going to lie, when I saw my friend, I thought just that what he needs now isn't a $10 million, unless it's going to fix him, right? What he needs now is love and support. And I hope he has that. I hope he does. I didn't get into it, but I don't know if he's married. I don't know if his family is here. I know that if I was in that situation, I would be rich with support. Yeah. I know that I'd have friends and family there for me, helping me and doing whatever they can do to make me feel a certain way. What if he doesn't have that? Yeah. So that also made me sad, but made me realize that the obvious, that what we're doing might not be that important, right? If it was taken away, what do you really want? So I got a a question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 years to live. What are you going to do? So God comes down in a dream or whatever and says, look, Carlos, 3 years. 3 years for what? 3 years. That's all you got. Make the most of it. What are you going to do?
So 3 years. Definitely get with family, with my kids, and really try to instill and, the best values, and morals as possible. And like really like drill it in.
They're like, damn, Dad, you're really detailed. You got
yeah.
you got it all written out.
I got it all in graphs. I got it, I got everything. And just completely plan the exit. You know what I mean? And like you said before, I mean, we talked about this before. It's a blessing that you know what I mean? And so you're able to like really, throw the damn party, man. It's a celebration, of life also, because whatever, if that's what it is, then that's what it is. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. You know what I mean? It's just, just want to make sure that you leave everything behind well, you know what I mean, with the loved ones. And man, your kids is your legacy, man. We always talk about this. That's what's really important, what's being left behind. And if you're able to know that's what's, that's your time, man, yes, I think that's enough time, man, to like really, get all your things that's important, situated, and it'd be a good farewell, man. Like it really would. I mean, it's a blessing, man. I see it as a blessing.
Yeah. And going back to my friend, what if I passed next week or tomorrow or today? He's still alive. So here I'm feeling bad for someone that has this awful thing, but life is short like that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy like that. So I can't waste my time feeling bad for him. And in a weird way, that is, if you want to look at the silver lining, it's a gift to know that, okay, my time is coming. What am I going to do? And he has the opportunity to do stuff. And I hope that he's healthy enough to do that. And I hope that the doctors are wrong, to be honest. Yeah. Hopefully he gets a second opinion. I didn't want to get into that, but I just took it as I only see him once every, let's just say, 5 years. And there was a message. We always talk about signs. I was being a brat, trying to get a car that it really doesn't matter. And hey, David, out of nowhere. And it's God telling me change that way of thinking. I'm not trying to tell you to change who you are, but change that way of thinking. If you want to get upset or debate someone about something, do it about something that you're passionate about that's going to get you somewhere. Not, there's not enough cream in my coffee, if that makes sense. Yeah. So for me, like you, I would have the graphs for my kids. They'd be like, Daddy, you're very detailed. I'm like, yeah, learn this, do that, right? And making true memories, especially with my wife. Yeah. Because I love my parents. I love my sister. I got love. But my wife has been through the gauntlet. Mm-hmm. And for me to just roll out on her and not give those things that I had promised her, like, oh, baby, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. I gotta figure out a way. Yeah. I gotta figure out a way to make those 3 the most memorable for her, right? For us, and get it to where, it'll be a sad moment, but she had that, right? She had the grind, and then she had the part of me where I wasn't thinking about work. And I would really want to give that to her. Then I would help Mike. Mike is my childhood best friend, business partner for many years, and I'd figure out how to help him, and that would involve movies. So I got a lot to do in those 3 years, but I would definitely get on it.
You'll be super busy.
For sure. So what's sad about all this stuff is that why do I need to tell myself, if I had 3 years to live, what would I do? Didn't I just tell myself what to do right now? And that's the sad part.
Yeah.
Right? So why?
Always wait to the last minute.
Why?
We always do that as creatures, man. We always just, as human beings, man, we always just wait to the last minute to be like, oh, okay, hold on. And we're wrong for that, man. And I think that's where our mentalities need to change.
Yeah.
We need to, count our blessings now and do whatever it is now.
Right, because look, both of us, we have great wives, right?
100%.
Great children.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, though, that's it.
Epitome of everything.
Yeah.
That's what it all is.
Great friends and other family members.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these things. We have love, we have support, we have dreams, we have so much. And it's tough to step back and realize that. I just don't know why we can't just always think like this. Yeah. So I'll be motivated now, and then I'll leave. It's still on my mind, and then something happens, and then I kind of forget about it. Oh yeah, I'll get back to it later. But I think that we really, honestly, should just always step back. It's almost like maybe an alarm or a trigger that as soon as I get in a situation like, here, I'll give you an example. There's a place called Chopped. We're actually doing work for them.
Yeah.
Great kind of, I don't know what you would call it. It's not fast food, healthy fast food, whatever you call it, but they have salads and wraps. So in the beginning, when I used to get stuff from them, I would get a wrap, and it was a decent sized wrap to the point where you can cut it in half, have some now, have some later. But I noticed it was getting smaller and smaller, and I get it. The economy's bad, and you got to chintz out on little things here and there. You got to up prices. Okay, I get it, and it is what it is. But I still was a loyal customer. But it got to the point, no joke, the wrap was the size of my hand. It was like a little mini torpedo. And I looked at it and I said, come on. So I took it and I went up to the lady and I said, come on. Like, this is, and she's looking at me like I'm crazy. She's like, yeah, that's the size. I'm like, no.
I remembered bigger.
It was, yeah, that is incorrect. And I told her, I said, listen, I've been coming here for a while. It's gotten smaller. I've worked with it, but this is crazy. You're going to tell me that this is worth, I don't know, $13, $14. And she didn't even say anything to me. She just walked away and she made another one and made it bigger to just kind of shut me up. And I'm not going to say that it affected my day, but there was like a debate that went on. And looking back at like kind of what we're talking about now, I think what I should have done was not even confront her and just roll out. Eat it, and maybe not come back again. Like no sweat off my back. There's so many other places that I can give my business to. Why do I have to make this person feel a certain way? And it didn't work. I mean, it did, but it didn't. It didn't, like, I don't know what I wanted. I wanted her to accept it and be like, yeah, we messed up, but that wasn't going to happen. And she just basically made it shut me up. And now I had 2 burritos or wraps and just kind of felt empty. What I wanted was, I guess, an acknowledgement, But why do I need that? Why do I need that?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, what was the purpose?
I don't know. There's something like little things like that. I need like an alarm bell that just goes bing. Like don't even need to sweat this out. Just whatever. And I think that's what I'm going to work on. Not forgetting the whole thing. Like, I'm gonna, I don't have to hit a home run right now. I just need to get to first base. And first base is basically just not sweating the small stuff.
Yeah.
Just making sure that my energy and my effort is for things that
really matter.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. So my next question, you can answer it if you want. Do you pray to God?
Yeah, definitely. Not as much as I want to.
Okay.
But I do definitely. It's a lot of times where I'll wake up in the middle of the night just randomly and, I'll do a little prayer, or maybe not a prayer, but just like a little conversation, like, just randomly. But it's not as much as I know that I want to, and it goes back to what you're saying right now, that we always wait to the last minute when something's going bad. I'm like, God, and it's not, I'm not doing it on the regular basis. Even, yes, when occasionally good things are happening, I'm like, oh man, thank God. So I appreciate it, but it's not, like I should. Like, I know I should.
I remember one of my best friend's mom. So Bafar, if you're listening, shout out to your mom, Mrs. Rami. And she was cool because she understood how to talk to teenagers. I always felt that I could talk to her, and she was real funny, and just the things that she would say, and she had some good insight, and she would respect what you're saying as a teenager. And then one day she asked me, she said, David, do you pray to God? And I said, oh yeah, I do. And she said, when? And I said, kind of like what you just said, when times are tough.
Mm-hmm. And
she just started laughing, like laughing as in stomach hurting, laughing, crying. And then she said, oh, no. That's not praying. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, praying to God is having a relationship with God. That always stuck with me, that you can't, not that God isn't there for you, and God could be anything. We're not, I'm not really religious. I'm more spiritual, but I feel that there's something out there, whether it's God, energy, love, whatever you want to call it. But I could definitely be better. But I always, and it's been many, many years since she said that to me, many years. And I always think of it, I need to speak more with God, not when things are tough, but just almost sometimes I talk to God and I say ideas. What if I did this? What if I did that? God could be anything. God could be your best friend, your mentor. It could really be anything. And I think that we try to say God is this, and therefore we're almost scared of God. And that's why we wait until the times are tough, because that's your last moment. Oh, God, help me. Like the trigger, the guy's about to pull the trigger. Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I think we're not utilizing God enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because once you feel that you can speak to God or pray or think, and it's funny, when I talk to God, it's all in my mind. Like, I don't talk like I'm talking to you. It's like in here, and that's where the conversation is. But when I do talk to God, I try to not ask for things. Like, remember when we were kids, that's what we would do. Be like, God, I hope, I wish, I pray I get that Nintendo. Please, that's all I want, right? And now it's more so, the real. It's the real. And what I ask for, I won't get into specifics, but what I ask for revolve around family, revolve around my well-being to make it like here in my mind. Not so much, oh, I need this to sell. I need this to so I can pay this off or do this. Like it has nothing to do with that, right? Because that's just silliness. It's more so having a relationship so that you can keep sane, so that when you do have the bad times, you're not panicking. You're like, I've been here before. I need your help. Get me through this, and we'll live to see another day. And really, I want to say 9 times out of 10, but I'm still breathing. So 10 times out of 10, it works. Yeah. So I think that God in any situation, screw business, screw it, right? Just in any situation in life, I think everyone needs to have a relationship with God, regardless of what your God is.
Yeah, to me it's important to understand that there's something greater out there than myself. And that, I can't do it alone, and that faith does give you power, to move on and to continue.
So, okay, what's the next move from here? So now that I've, you always say that I'm always talking about death. David, you got to be a little more positive. And I'm trying to approach this from positivity, right? So what can you and I do better? Where do we go from here?
Stop complaining. Just stop complaining about the dumbest things. Stop having excuses.
Stop being a Darren.
Yeah, straight up.
Are you sure it's a Darren?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, definitely stop being a Darren.
Yeah, stop complaining.
Or Karen.
Yeah, stop complaining. Stop whining. I'll give you an example, like me personally. So, I got, this health issues, right? Like stuff with the legs and, neuropathy and all these problems, right? So I'm complaining all the time. Oh man, my legs hurt. Oh, my legs are swollen. Well, I need to move around. I need to go to the gym. I need to do stuff. So I'm always complaining. Oh, it hurts. It's pain. I can't do this. I can do that. But when I'm on social media and then I see a video of a lady with prosthetic legs doing a marathon, I shut up.
Yeah, that's
you see what I'm saying?
That's the point.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it.
Like, I shut up. I'm like, man, you know what, man? Shut up. Like, I just straight up. That's just one word. Shut up. There's nothing else that I gotta say. All my whining goes out the window. That's when I revert back to, God, I'm sorry. I thank you. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, I needed that. You know what I mean? And that's when I step back and then I start evaluating everything and just start thinking about, like, man, I'm complaining about the most dumbest things. Like, and there's no excuses, man. You know what I mean? We just got to keep it moving, keep it trucking. That's it, and toughen up and stop being a Darren.
Yeah, I think that for me, seeing that friend was a blessing for me. Yeah. It was a sign from God telling me to chill out, telling me that I have a lot to be thankful for, and I have a lot left in me, even though at some times I feel defeated, even though I feel that maybe I'm a failure in some things, that I have a lot of success, and I have to remember that. And people are counting on me. Let's just take the business, for example, that I have to keep going for many people. That's just what it is. And for me to be all of my feelings, and possibly bringing my team down, that's not a good look for them, for me, for the business, for our well-being, for the future. If I show good leadership and show them that I can still be positive in negative situations, that's going to mean a lot to them. That's going to inspire.
Mm-hmm.
And in turn, that's going to help me because they're inspired to work harder and believe in ideas that I'm preaching. They're going to be there for me. So I kid you not, when I was on the phone, and you can even you can do a background check on this one. I was on the phone driving to the office after I saw my friend, and I called Holly Winfield. She's our agent for one of our developments. And I called her because she had been either texting me or maybe a missed call. And we have a project that's very, very complicated. And we not that we feel sorry for ourselves at all, but we kind of like complain about all the situations, how it could be better and what we need to do. Oh my gosh. And I called her. I said, look, I told her exactly what happened. And me and Holly, I've known her for many years, but we're not, talking about things other than business. But I just told her everything. I said, look, I saw this guy from high school. This is what happened. The things that we're dealing with are comical. You and me, we're going to figure this out. We're going to make it happen on our tombstone. And this is something I always say, that this stuff is not going to be on my tombstone. The fact that I didn't sell a property, it's not going to say, here lies David. He couldn't sell this property. That joint ain't going to be on my tombstone. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to figure it out. And I told her that. And she said, oh my gosh, you're right. And my friend, right, gave me that inspiration.
Yeah.
And in turn, I gave Holly that inspiration. And we talked about it, I think, a couple days after that. But yeah, like our whole attitude has like shifted. And what's funny is that we're making it happen. Like we're like stepping back and saying, okay, this is kind of messed up. What do we need to do to make it right? It's not going to be on our tombstone. We got to figure this out. And when your mind is clear like that, then you kind of see the path. You see the path that you have to take. When you're all frustrated and into your feelings and look, when you're doing that, you have a reason to do that. It's not that you're wrong, but is that the way to go about things? Are you going to waste your time? There's only so much time that we have on this planet. Are you going to waste your time saying what's right and what's wrong? Am I going to waste my time at Chopped telling the lady that she made the wrap too small?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time. I don't have time. So that moment really put things in focus where, hey, we're going to get over this. This isn't the end of the world. Bringing it back to the business, I think that you have to step back, look at all the good things that you have, look at everything and say, okay, these are the things that are going for me. We can put the bad things to this side, but let's put the good things right here. Let's focus on what's I have,
good.
What's good, and then move forward and know that you have both your legs, right? You're complaining about certain things, and then you see this woman skadoodling with that's crazy.
I seen another person with half the torso cut up at the gym, like is missing from the waist down, and dude is cut up. You know what I mean?
Remember Crane from I'm wearing a turtle shirt, a Ninja Turtle shirt, and they got the old school Crane. If you remember that dude, it was just the brain. He was just a brain,
I'm telling you,
and
man.
He was making moves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Causing destruction.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, you start thinking about everything. You'd be like, man, like I'm a complainer, man, for nothing. But that's because we're just so used to, just an entitlement and just feeling like we like me, me, and we gotta cut back.
So in closing, let's bring this back. Our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Let's respect our parents.
Sure.
They went through it.
They did.
And they gave us the opportunity to be who we are now, to fail.
Yeah.
We're having these feelings that me, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to blame the parents. We're going to look at ourselves and know that we know right from wrong. We're smart enough. So what are we going to do with the next? What are we going to do with our kids? Are we going to continue this anything you want, whenever you want, this instant life? Or are we going to look back to our parents and say they actually had some good values there? There was a reason why I didn't get that toy. There was a reason why I needed to earn.
Yeah, 100%. I would say, give them the tools to understand that failure, it's important. And of course, I wouldn't want them to just go, hey, go fail, just go fail, like let it happen organically, you know what I mean? But, it's not just a me world, and
then also to respect what they have.
Yes, value, respect what they have, and be grateful. I tell this to Catalina too, we always talk about this at the dinner table. Matter of fact, last night, I was like, hey, eat all your food, She's like, oh no, I don't like it, this and that. And I'm like, it's good, it's, you've ate it before, and she's just wasting, and I told her, I'm like, look, I tell her all the time, like, look, man, there's kids in other places in the world, man, that they don't have this. And then she's just like, oh, okay, and same thing with the toys and so many things, I'm always telling her that same thing. It's like, pick up your toys, put them away, take care of them. There's kids out there that don't have toys, you know what I mean? And you look at what you're doing. But then again, I could say that to myself, you know what I mean? And so many things. Like, well, you're complaining about this. Well, what about this,
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're the missing link.
Yeah.
So our parents didn't have to worry about that because they didn't have the option to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were given like an old shoe and told to go outside and play with it, right?
Yeah.
We are level up from that. And I think we are the good balance. But we're not understanding that we're not giving those values to our kids. And like you said, pick up your toys, respect them. That's what I try to tell my son. Like he wants a new like micro machine. I'm like, but Mateo, you got 100 downstairs. He knew. Basically, I bought a bunch of micro machines for cheap, and instead of giving them all to him, I hid them. So I would give him one by one, right? So, yeah, like anytime he did something good, I'm like, oh, okay, you deserve a micro machine. Oh, thank you so much. So either my wife or myself made the mistake of opening the drawer with the micro machines, and now he's a little taller, so he picked he put his little head over there. And he's like, oh, what are those? And he found the micro machines. So he's obsessed with getting more micro machines.
Yeah.
And I tell him, I'm like, but dude, you're not even playing with the 100 that you have in the basement. Like, and they're cool. They're all cool. He doesn't remember. Like, I bet you I could take the ones that he has from the basement, stick it in the drawer, and he wouldn't even know. But, oh, look at this. But knowing Mateo, probably he would know. But you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about respecting what you have. And it's a lazy mentality that I have of like, oh, let me just give him this so he's happy for the moment, versus taking the time to teach him about being grateful and respecting what he has and counting his blessings.
Yeah.
That's it. He's young. He's not going to say, oh, thank God, and let me count my blessings. But we can teach him little by little. And when he gets to our age, he's going to understand. Like, oh, that's why they didn't give me the phone at this age. Oh, that's why my dad made me use my own money. So I've been giving Mateo money, but I haven't stepped into, okay, now you got to pay for it yourself. right? So he's just saying every day, like if he's saying how many dollars he has, but I haven't said, okay, well, why don't you buy your own Happy Meal? Well, man, that's like half my money. I haven't done that to him.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like shielding him from it because I don't want to break his heart that like, yo, man, money comes and money goes. But there's going to be a point in time where I'm going to have to say, look, you want that toy? It's coming out of your savings. And he's going to learn like, ooh, maybe I don't want that toy.
Yeah.
I've been doing it bit by bit. So if we go to Target and he's like, I want a toy, I'm like, look, you got a $5 budget. And that's not a lot. $5 budget. So then he's like learning. He's like, oh, I can't get this. Oh, I can get 2 of these. So the concept is there. But until I really make him do it on his own like we did, remember? Did you ever work for like an allowance or something?
Oh, yeah.
So I had a vacuum, I had a dust, and I think my mom gave me $2.50. This is when I was like 8 years old. And
I didn't have an allowance, but every now and then they'll kick me off some of the money.
All right, so I got a small allowance, and that was important to me. And I added it up, and I saw the commercials. I knew that the Raphael figurine was $7.99. I'm like, all right, man, 3-4 weeks, I got him.
Mm-hmm.
And I did buy him, and we still have it. Like my mom kept it. It was like one of my favorite toys, a Raphael Ninja Turtle figurine. Played with it almost every day. Then, obviously I grew out of it. My mom kept it, and I think she gave me a box with like my old stuff. So I have it, and I will keep that joint to the day I die. Like that was, I bought that. So thinking about the moment that had, the impact that had, I want to give that to, our kids.
Yeah.
And it starts with us. So thank you to my friend. I don't want to say his name, but I want to let him know that I'm thinking of him. I'm praying for him, and hopefully he's doing okay. Hopefully he can get a second opinion, and his luck will change. But he's definitely on my mind, and he has he's given me something that I'm gonna take.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Little did he know. He made an impact
For sure.
and that's what's important. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like he made an impact.
For sure.
And it's
And like we say, dream, build, connect, right?
mm-hmm.
So for the connection, for him and I, that right there, that so it doesn't always have to be about business,
Mm-hmm.
like we always talk about. It's about life too.
Yeah.
And we have that connection. And who would have thought when we were in high school many years ago that now, flash forward, that he would impact my life?
That's right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Any closing thoughts?
Let's be grateful.
Yeah.
Let's appreciate life. Let's step back and look at the glass halfway full.
You're good at doing that.
Yeah, rather than just looking at it halfway empty.
All right. So if you like what you're hearing, please give us a follow at StonePark Podcast. We're on all social media platforms. If you want to connect with us directly, we have an email set up, connect@stonepark.com. Carlos, until next time, let's dream, build, connect.